Hi, I'm Brian Crombie, and we're going to be talking on the Brian Crombie Show. We're going to be talking about politics, arts, business, and social issues on the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Good evening, and welcome to the Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. We've had some fascinating people talking about the digital economy and COVID-19, how business has changed, how communication has changed. And I wanted to reach out to someone who I know who's really a beauty, appearance, presentation expert. Cheryl Gushue is the editor-in-chief of Beauty Hub magazine. She's been in the beauty industry and the media industry for a long period of time and knows a lot about how you put your best foot forward. So I thought we'd invite her onto our show to find out, you know, what you got to do, what you got to be thinking about when you think about this new digital world that really we're all in. Cheryl, welcome. How are you?
Hi. Great. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you so much for joining us. So you were going to tell me a little bit about some of the sort of rules or suggestions you've got for how one wants to appear the best in our digital economy, digital world. Tell me about some of those.
Right. Well, you know, these days, since we're all in front of the camera all the time and we're really not used to that, that's kind of a new world for everybody. How do you set yourself up so that you look great on camera? So, you know, that's something that I've been doing for many years, doing photo shoots and TV. So there's a few things that I think is really key. One, like being in a studio, you really need good lighting, right? So you need to have forward lighting, and it needs to really light up your face. If you have top lighting, it actually gives you bags under your eyes. So we probably don't want that. And also just...
So what do you mean by top lighting? So it can't be above you, it's got to be straight into you.
Right, so if your light was just only above you, what's going to happen is it's going to cast shadows down.
Okay,
right?
So I see some of these people buying these ring lights. Do you recommend that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Even for someone that's just on Zoom with corporate meetings and things like that?
Well, yeah, if you want to present well, that's like a small investment. Really, you can get one that's smaller for your table. You don't have to get a big pro version, but yeah, definitely, absolutely. The other thing
I can't tell you how many people I do interviews with or talk to on Zoom meetings and things like that that are completely blacked out. And I did a meeting with a person yesterday where they put in this virtual background that you can choose on Zoom, and they were in a dark room, and it was like they were a ghost. There was this, like, just a part of their face that was showing through. It was the strangest
and
thing.
Doesn't that make it difficult to communicate?
Yeah.
Because you're kind of like, where did that person go? Like, how can we, you really you need to be able to see somebody speaking in order to be heard. So definitely lighting is really important. How you set up your shot is important. So I always kind of pre-set up my shot. So before I get on the meeting, you've got whatever, you can go onto Zoom and check your visuals and make sure there's no like plant coming out of the side of your head. And
I think you told me that once, and I looked at my, I've got a plant coming out of the top of my head and I haven't moved it yet. I'm gonna have to listen to you.
Yeah, so it's just, you know, I'm coming from like a fashion background, so I'm really particular when it comes to that kind of thing and setting up your screenshot. So proper lighting and proper screenshot and dressing accordingly, because even though we're working from home, you know, we're still in a business atmosphere, so to speak, in your Zoom meeting, so you still have to show up and look professional.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that you did when I noticed when you sat down is you sat right at the front, and that's, you know, good for Zoom meetings or interviews, or, you know, I've had a lot of people tell me that's what you do when you're on stage.
Yeah.
That what you do is you put a hand behind your back, between the back of your back and the seat, so that you're not slouching down,
right.
And you actually are forced to sit up straight. Is that something you do?
Yeah, you know, I don't know, that was like an automatic
that...
response for me. I just sat down and sat like this because it's really important to also, you know, to present, to have your shoulders back and to sit with proper posture. So that's just something that I'm used to doing, but
right.
Absolutely, I think that's definitely part of it too.
Okay, now,
yeah.
You know, for a Zoom meeting or a corporate meeting, do you have to do all the hair and makeup kind of stuff?
I just say keep it professional still. I mean, not every woman wears a lot of makeup, so that's understandable. But just putting mascara on, some color on your lips and a little color on your cheeks, it does liven you right up. Because also, if you do decide you're going to get this ring light, it may kind of wash you out a little bit too. So that's something that I also learned in TV, is like lots of bronzer and add color to the face.
What does Trump do? He comes out looking orange all the time. Like, what is that?
I wonder who his makeup artist is. Like, I really want to know. I'm sure he's asking for it though, right? Like, He's got to request that.
But he has these white things on around his eyes, so I figure he's going to some tanning booth or something, no?
Oh, he probably is.
But he comes out orange.
Right.
He doesn't come out like tanned. It's weird.
Yeah, maybe he's doing his own makeup. I don't know. I should look into that. I should call him. Actually, I would never want to work with him.
Okay, so what about guys? Like, what about, so many guys have got the COVID beard. Is that a good idea or a bad idea? Or?
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem. I mean, beards are a fashionable men's trend these days, right? So I think that's totally fine. I don't think you have to shave your beard just because you're in a Zoom meeting.
Now, if I was on a typical meeting in the business world, I'd have a jacket on.
Yeah.
More than likely, I'd have a suit and a tie.
Yeah.
Do you put on a jacket if you're a guy?
Yeah, I think so. Why not? It depends on your work environment again, because there's so much of this like dress down casual office spaces these days. So I think it really depends. If you're in finance or any kind of like more corporate environment, absolutely put the jacket on. That's a nice jacket, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it. One of the things that's very kind of you. One of the big challenges now is personal connection or lack of personal connection. What suggestions have you got in that regard when we're living in this digital world?
Absolutely. Do you know that Canadians spend like 11 hours a day on their phone looking at a screen? So you can imagine the amount of disconnection that people have because people's heads are always down, or they're always just engrossed in whatever's in their screen and not in the moment. The other issue with that is you're constantly getting this blue light emission, and that's messing up your melatonin and your sleep cycle. So between being in front of the screen all the time and being on Zoom, being zoomed out, we're really stressing ourselves out, and we're really actually affecting our sleep.
Yeah. So what's your suggestion? How do we deal with it?
Yeah, well, I think we should just allow ourselves a break. And because sometimes we're not aware of it, it's such an addiction. Like, watch The Social Dilemma. I don't know if you've seen that documentary. It's really interesting about how addicted we are to our screens. So if you can actually schedule some time in your day to say, you know what, from this time to this time, I'm not even going to touch my phone. I'm going to turn my notifications off, and I'm going to be able to focus on the task at hand. And I find that really helps with me, especially when I write, because as I'm writing, you can get a message every 5 minutes, and you get a ding, 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 and how are you supposed to really concentrate and do what you have to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a finance guy. I do financial analysis, and one of the things that I've found is that if I'm going through a complicated financial statement and or a model, and had to go through a model and find out where it was right, where it was wrong, whether I agreed with all of its assumptions, and frankly whether it just sort of flowed. If I'm getting emails and getting telephone calls and stuff like that, I just can't do it. And frankly, what I had to do is wait to the weekend and close myself off and dedicate a couple of hours to do it. And so I think part of the problem we've got is lack of focus, because we've got this, invasion of digital stuff constantly. And they say that the problem is people that if they hear the buzz, they hear a ding, they've got this. They're compelled to pick it up to see what it is.
Yeah.
And so it's not only you got to turn all those notifications off for a while.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a person who said that it was impossible for them to concentrate because they had the notifications on their Mac. And so their Mac had FaceTime and telephones and texts all coming in and showing up as they were on a Zoom call.
Absolutely. Well, think of all the directions it comes from. We've got LinkedIn, we've got Facebook, email, text messages, Instagram, Zoom, whatever other program you're on. That's only a handful. These notifications are coming at you from every direction. So yeah, it's very important to do that, to turn those off. The other thing about the blue light issue is, you can automatically set your phone or your computer to a warmer light after a certain time. You can literally set the times.
The other thing I like is turning it off during a meeting. And I guess there's an automatic selection that you can make that it turns off automatically.
It says I'm in a meeting or something.
And doesn't allow it to ring or a notification come through during a meeting.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about just not looking at it after a certain time of day?
Oh, that's a tough one, isn't it? Well, especially me, because I'm in media. I mean, that's the whole thing about what I do. I constantly on Instagram, always trying to grow my follower base. I mean, it's really difficult for people who are in media to step away from it. But like I said, it's true. Like the only way I can really step away is to decide right now I'm not going to touch it. And you know what? Even on weekends, there are times where I'm just going to put it in my purse You know, like if you're on a date or you're out for dinner or you're having a meal or something, like just put your phone down.
I can't, you
Respect
go to
the other
restaurants
person with
where
you, right?
people are not talking to each other
Oh,
and
yeah.
are just each talking to their phone or looking at their phone. And what really bothers me, I'm just incensed with this, is you see people at a table in a restaurant and they've got FaceTime up with someone that's not even there and they're talking so loud that they're
Yeah.
disturbing the whole restaurant.
Yeah, I think so many people are oblivious to what's around them because, like I said, you're just so drawn into this screen. And it's interesting because the way social media works and the way the algorithm works, they know what you're looking at, obviously, right? You know, Google, Alexis, like they're all listening, right? So, you know, you can say something and next thing you know, it's showing up in your feed.
Yeah.
So, you know, the algorithms know what to feed you. They know how to suck you in and get you back to your phone again, because the whole point is to sell you something. Because the traditional media, the traditional advertising of, sure, commercials and print ads are there, but we know they're going away. And now it's all going to advertising in the digital space.
So bottom line, have some time that you turn it off.
Have some time that you turn it off.
Don't be controlled.
Turn your blue light down so you can get some sleep at night. You know, 1 in 2 people do not get a good night's sleep. Like we're so wired and stressed, and it's like chronic fatigue. Like
You heard it here. Don't take
Don't
your
watch
phone
the
to
show.
bed with you.
Sorry.
We're chatting with Cheryl Gushue about this digital world that we're all living in. We're going to take a break and come back more with Cheryl in just a minute. Stay with us.
कोविड-19 का हल सिर्फ आपके पास है। घर पर रहें और अगर आपको बुखार या दूसरी अलामत है तो दूसरों से दूर रहें। बाहर के अफराद से 2 मीटर का फासला रखें, चाहे वो खानदान के हों या करीबी दोस्त। ऑफिस और पब्लिक प्लेसेस पर मास्क पहने, वक्फे से हाथ धोएं, ऑनलाइन सेल्फ असेसमेंट करें और जरूरत पड़ने पर टेस्ट करवाएं। फैलाव की रोकथाम के लिए हमारा फर्ज अभी मुकम्मल नहीं हुआ। हम एक दूसरे के ताउन से सबकी हिफाजत यकीनी बना सकते हैं। मजीद जानने के लिए ontario.ca/coronavirus पर विजिट कीजिए।
Here's to the people, pioneers searching for better, ambitious fortune seekers in strange new places. They're the inspiration behind Zoom, the fast and secure money transfer app from PayPal.
Life is precious, and health is the greatest gift. The best investment you can ever make is in your own health and life. Take steps now for your health and life concerns, which includes drug and dental insurance, travel insurance, critical illness, disability income insurance, and super visa insurance. We also provide life insurance, RESP, RRSP, and segregated funds.
To make the informed decision, contact Babar Chughtai, your health benefit advisor at 416-816-9210. It's 416-816-9210.
Was your family or business prepared for this financial crisis? Want to learn how I prepare my clients with the essential financial planning pyramid for any financial crisis come their way? Hello, this is Zahid Sayed from Arooj Financial. For your complimentary Zoom or Skype meeting, call my office at 905-624-0008 or visit aroojfinancial.com.
Buying or selling a residential or commercial property is one of the biggest financial decisions most people will make in their life. The real estate lawyers at Alam Law Chambers will guide you through the complete real estate laws to ensure your transaction completes on time and your dreams come true. Reliable and affordable. Alam Law.
If you are looking for a reliable, professional, and affordable travel agency in your town, then your search is over. Global Travel and Tours is your personal travel partner. Our dedicated staff at Mississauga, Jeddah, and Islamabad is always ready to make your trip hassle-free, memorable, and cost-effective. We will assist you with hotel reservations, the transportation, visa assistance, and travel insurance. We are the #1 pilgrimage specialist for Hajj, Umrah, as well as ziyarat to Iran and Iraq. Global Travel and Tours is a one-stop solution for your travel, immigration, and Forex needs. We are IATA approved agents and an authorized Umrah agent. To book your holiday or Umrah package, please give us a call right now at 1-877-275-35 855. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hi, I'm Brian Crombie, and we're going to be talking on The Brian Crombie Show. We're going to be talking about politics, arts, business, and social issues on The Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. Welcome back to The Brian Crombie Show on Canada One TV. We're chatting tonight with Cheryl Gushue, who is a beauty and appearance expert. She's been in the beauty business and the media business for a long period of time, and really knows how to present and tell people and advise people how to present the best authentic person that they can be. And Cheryl, thank you for giving us a bunch of suggestions on what to wear and what to look and lighting and background and things like that, and it's been helpful. We've talked a lot about this digital world and how challenging it is. I think a lot of people are going through mental health problems with the combination of COVID-19 and this constant imposition of this digital world. People are really going stir crazy. What advice have you got in that regard for them?
Yes, absolutely. Again, because we are just so stuck to our screens and the stress of COVID and everything that's creating for our lives. Even, myself, I really connect with others in the industry. Right now I'm putting together a special print issue called Canadian Pro Beauty, and I'm talking to a lot of hairdressers and stylists and salon and spa owners and talking about their problems. So, we're really inundated with what's happening in everybody's world. Mental health is definitely a big issue right now. I think what we really need to do is remember to step away. We have to remember to just walk away. Sometimes it's good to just walk away from your computer and go for a walk. Like, we really need to connect with nature. I know the weather's getting colder again right now, but nature is it does wonders for you. Like, it really literally recharges you to the earth like plugging in your phone. You just literally get a recharge. That's why walking on the beach feels so wonderful. It's just something we need to do. We need to appreciate nature and just
And how do you do
get
that
out
personally?
there. I'll go for walks. I've done some bike rides. Found a really good trail in my
I had this one
area.
person come and tell me that it was forest bathing, and that you had to bathe yourself in the forest. You had to completely immerse yourself into nature and trees. Do you agree with
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. Well, there's something called earthing, grounding, which is really putting your feet on the ground and getting a charge
With
from
bare
the
feet.
earth. Yeah, yes. Getting a charge from the earth, because think about it, we are always in shoes and we're on concrete and inside. When do our feet or our bodies actually touch the earth? Maybe go to the park and go sit in the park. Like, just go connect with the ground and get that energy charge that you need from nature.
You know what I did? The very first week of COVID-19, I got to tell you, it's funny. Someone told me that there was a sale on in a hot tub store, because the hot tub store was thinking it was going to have to close down because everyone was talking about, closures, and they had a sale. And so I bought a hot tub, put it in my backyard in the middle of a bunch of trees, and closed down. But then, like a month later, everyone was buying hot tubs, and you couldn't find one. I bought it before the peak. It was great
you're
timing.
so lucky.
I got to tell you, I have used that hot tub during COVID-19, and that's my forest bathing. I just go in the
Yeah.
hot tub and stare at the trees.
No, I just had a conversation with someone today. She was like, she wanted to get a pool. There was no way you were going to buy a pool this summer. It was out of the question. But how lucky are we if we have outdoor space, if we have even like a terrace off of our condo. I mean, I'm lucky. I'm on the first floor. I have a great terrace, so I'll work outside. It doesn't feel
Wonderful.
like work when you're working outside. So yeah, so weather's changing. What do? Bundle up and go for a walk then, but just really connect with nature. I think it's super key.
So you're an editor-in-chief of a beauty magazine. You have been in the beauty business as a makeup artist for a long period of time. You're in the media world, and you prepare people for media shoots and photo shoots and things like that. And so you're probably often dealing with beautiful people, but probably also just with regular people and getting them ready for things. Mm-hmm. And it's almost as if we've all entered that world now because of this digital environment that we're living in. You've talked about lighting, you've talked about sitting up straight, you've talked about background. How do you come across as an authentic person? What kind of advice do you give people on how to show themselves their best person?
I can tell you from all the corporate shoots that I've done all my life, people are afraid to be on camera. Right, so as soon as the camera is on, they freeze up, right? So if you can disconnect yourself from the camera and connect yourself with who you're with, I think in most cases, if you're doing a photo shoot, it's really up to the photographer to make that person feel comfortable, because then it's just a conversation. Because when you say relax, that's what you don't do, right?
Right.
You're like, what do you mean I'm not relaxing?
Is there a way that you can train people to relax?
I think it's just take a deep breath. Often I find if it's an on-camera situation, when the camera is away from the subject, like say the photographer is just looking down and doing something, that person all of a sudden they relax,
Yeah.
right? And you go, yeah, that's it. Just stay, see how you feel, what you're doing.
And so I find that people, once the camera's off, they're far more authentic, they're far more
Yeah.
interesting, they're a better interviewee.
Yeah.
How do you get people to act like that when the camera's on?
It's a tough one because, you know, it's a matter of experience. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And a lot of people, I think, are just self-conscious about how they look. So if anything, go get yourself professionally done up. Hair, makeup, whatever, buy something new, because you know when you're in that great suit, you always, like, it gives you that boost of confidence, right? Like, you know, if you have an important meeting, you're gonna wear your favorite suit. That one outfit that just makes you feel like the bomb, you know, like you need the confidence to come from yourself first and to feel comfortable in the environment.
You know, that's one thing about myself. I find I act differently when I'm wearing a suit or a jacket than I do if I'm just in shirt sleeves.
Yeah, for sure. For women, it's like put on a pair of heels.
Really?
Because that automatically like just gives you a lift.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Like
that's interesting.
literally.
Literally. Okay, any other good suggestions?
I just maybe understand your environment, know what you're about to do, what you're getting into, so that it's not a surprise factor. But
Now, you and I are talking to each other directly. Some people, when they're making a speech or a presentation, will speak directly to the camera. Do you recommend that people speak directly to the camera?
it doesn't always work.
What do you think? Does it make
You
sense?
speak directly to the camera if that situation calls for it, for sure. I mean, right now this is a conversational situation, but yeah, I've done TV shows, but often we're speaking, and the audience is just a voyeur. So that's an easier way.
I was speaking to someone who said that one of the problems is a lot of people don't know where the camera is on their laptops or their computers. And they're looking at the picture in the Zoom rather than at the camera, and so therefore they look like they're never looking at the other person.
True. Yeah. You know, I thought about this recently because I was teaching to the students at Humber and Sheridan, and there was a time where I stopped and I just thought, okay, I'm just going to look at that little red dot. I think we were talking about that before, and it's like, how do you look at a little red dot for like 45 minutes and feel animated and have connection? Like it's really difficult these days because we're not always seeing all of the faces on the screen, right? So we get a reaction and we can, you know, adjust what we say or make sure that that person's understanding what we're talking about when we're seeing them in person, but we're not always seeing that now.
Yeah, so one of the suggestions that you know, I've given people is don't always have it on speaker mode. That you want to see the gallery, you want to see the other people, so you can see how people are reacting, because otherwise you'll end up just seeing yourself.
Right.
And that when you're in the gallery mode and you're speaking, try to look at the little red dot a little bit, but then also try to look at the people so you get the facial recognition of whether they're listening to you or whether they're checking their emails.
Or you could do a Joe Biden right into the screen, right into the camera.
I think that's pretty effective, and I think it works.
Sure. I agree.
So, you know, lighting, posture, backdrop, and things like that, being authentic are also critically important. How about getting confidence and calming down? How do you train that?
Yeah, the calming down, I think, would be a breathing technique would really help you.
What type of breathing technique?
Oh, just like breathe in, hold it, breathe out, hold it, breathe in. And there's like a box breathing technique that could help you just calm down. A shot of vodka, I don't know.
So I've got one that I do is, I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Warrior 2 in yoga, but I do it, it's a pose. Yeah. And if I do that pose, I feel like I'm more powerful, I feel like I'm more confident, I've got more oxygen coming into my lungs, and I do better. So I think that trying to find that move, there's a famous motivational speaker that talks about having to move, whether it's or victory. Amy Cuddy, I think the strategy professor at Harvard, talks about the victory pose. Getting something that's going to motivate you and give you confidence and oxygen so that you're up and ready.
Absolutely. I've spoken to a crowd of, I guess the biggest would be 2,000 people, and for me it's exhilarating. And also because when you know what you're talking about, then it's not so difficult. If it's something scripted and you're not sure and it's something that you're learning, yeah, it's definitely a lot harder. But when it's something you're passionate about and you know what you're saying, and really when it comes to an audience that big, you don't see them anyway because the lights are on you. Yeah. So, what do they say? Pretend that everyone in the audience is naked.
Well, laughter and
Yes.
and things like that are so critically important. It's interesting, again, watching all these political debates. I spoke with Conrad Black, interesting enough, who criticized Kamala Harris because she answered every question opening up with a laugh. And he said that's completely inappropriate, that you answer every question with this laugh or giggle. And he commented about Joe Biden always looking down, and so you don't
checking his
notes. Look down, and then checking your watch, which suggests that it's...
Can we get out of here?
Exactly. So I think that some of those things are worth considering when you're on camera.
Absolutely. Maybe there's mannerisms that you're not aware of, so maybe you should just record yourself and practice some kind of a speech, say something and record yourself and see how you look on camera.
Which you can do pretty easy, just on Zoom or something like that. Record yourself doing a speech or having a conversation and see what you have. So I went to Harvard Business School, and participation was 50% of your mark at Harvard Business School, and so therefore critically important that you can participate well and present well. What we did is we had participation buddies, someone else in the class that was elsewhere in the room, that would not criticize necessarily what you said, but how you present it and how you said it. And I thought that was a great idea. And you could do that in the corporate world. You could do it in a regular world.
Well, it's great when you're in a learning environment, and that's got to be the scariest moment. There's some people that are terrified of public speaking, right? Like how do you ever get over it? I know for me in my career, I've just been offered these opportunities and I say yes, and then I kind of freak out a little bit, and then I do it, and then I went, oh, I did that, so that's fine. So once you actually do it, and then you realize, okay, that wasn't so bad.
Cheryl Gushue, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
People want to ask you for some advice, get some of your consulting expertise, or just a great makeup job, how do they contact you?
You can find me at Cheryl Gushue on LinkedIn. Beauty Hub Magazine is my website and my Instagram, or Cheryl Gushue on Instagram.
Excellent. So that's our show today with Cheryl Gushue of Beauty Hub Magazine. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully we've given you some advice on how to present yourself better during this digital environment. And I think one of the things that, in addition to everything else that Cheryl said, that I think is worth listening to in regards to controlling our environment digitally and presenting ourselves as our best self, is turn it off. And don't be completely controlled by our digital environment. Get out, go into nature, bathe yourself in a forest or a hot tub like I like to do, and just get rid of the phones for a while. Anyway, that's the Brian Crombie Show for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us on Canada One TV. Good night.